IGN has dropped EA Sports UFC 6 hands-on preview, and we're gonna get right into it, man. It looks like they outdid EA, so let's do it.
It was immediately clear to me once I picked up the controller that one of the pillars that EA Vancouver focused on with UFC 6 was making each fighter feel more distinct than they have in the past. No longer does every athlete have the same blocking stance. Instead, they each have been placed into one of 4 buckets that determines how their defense works. Elusive fighters, such as Anderson Silva, Dominic Cruz, and MVP, all use an evasive
See, like they showing us actual gameplay.
Even while they're holding down the block button. They can and still will block, of course, but with these fighters, you'll probably want to focus more on making use of their increased head movement and reduce vulnerability while they're bobbing and weaving. Those who keep their hands up and keep a strong guard employ the sturdy style of defense, where their block is enhanced, but they are far less mobile while keeping their hands up. Many fighters utilize a balanced style that keeps their hands up but doesn't offer much in the way of significant advantage or disadvantage.
It's like the ultimate breakdown.
And a few fighters, like Sean Strickland, make use of the Philly shell, which has the unique perk of being able to mitigate both head and body damage at the same time, but is more vulnerable on the side of the head that is being defended. For casual or non-MMA fans, this probably won't make too much of a difference.
The Ilya power.
Who prefers picking his favorite fighters and trying to emulate the way they fight in real life, I love being able to pick a fighter like Dominic Cruz and then just be able to play in a way that is true to the way he used to fight.
Grooving.
Lots of darting in and out,
seen Cruz
tons
at all,
of
or
head movement to avoid shots, and a barrage of shots
he looks
thrown
fire,
from awkward angles. The push for fighter identity goes even further with the core new feature of UFC, Flow State. It's basically a power-up that you can trigger once you fill up a meter that enhances a specific aspect of your fighter's playstyle for a limited amount of time. So, for example, Max Holloway's Flow State enhances his advancing footwork and stamina efficiency, encouraging him to move forward and engage in potentially reckless offense. The cool thing about it, though, is that the opponent can respond to this with a taunt to earn a portion of that buff as well, encouraging them to also engage in potentially reckless offense. It's a mechanic pulled directly from Max Holloway's own signature style of closing out
Max looks good, bro. This is my first time ever seen him.
Daring his opponent to go against him while in the center of the octagon.
He didn't do it back. Hey! Boy, you're knocking a Sonic rings out of
flow meters, each fighter also has their own flow boosts, which award bonus meter gain by performing certain actions designed around emulating how that person would actually fight. So if you're one of those aforementioned elusive fighters that utilizes a lot of head movement, chances are you might have the flow boost.
Is it just me, or have y'all not seen like this much gameplay in one place before? Is it just me?
Which gives you a boost of flow meter whenever you successfully land a
IGN went crazy
after slipping one. Those with a more ground game-centric fighting style benefit from flow states too, with fighters like Islam Makhachev getting their flow boost by attacking with a variety of submission techniques and getting huge bonuses to their submission prowess when activating flow state while on the ground. The flow state system represents the biggest change to how UFC plays compared to prior iterations, but there are a lot of smaller quality of life changes as well. More prominent hit effects make blows more impactful. The new physics system does a great job of making blows connect and deflect off blocks with more realism than ever before. There's a new optional time dilation feature that slows down time and helps new players understand when they should be blocking, swaying, or defending transitions on the ground. And my personal favorite thing is that by default, jabs and straights are on 2 different buttons, regardless of what stance you're in. So there's no more accidentally throwing a slow straight when you meant to pepper in a couple of jabs, which has always been a personal sticking point for me with this series.
Nasty combo. I had to go back and get that one. All right, Legacy,
here we go. While the career mode itself has seen a number of adjustments, like making it faster to get into the UFC, a straight-up shop where you can buy new moves as opposed to having to learn them from UFC fighters, and a bunch of new choices that can lead to either positive or negative outcomes, the big change this time around is the fact that there's now a cinematic prologue chapter called The Legacy. The Legacy puts you in the shoes of Chris Carter, a former collegiate wrestling standout looking to try his hand at MMA in an attempt to escape the shadow of his gold medal winning father. His journey intersects with Danny Lopez, a similarly promising MMA upstart who is single-mindedly driven in his goal of becoming champion and proving his doubters wrong. Without going into spoilers, I'll just say that while the two start out as training buddies and good friends, eventually they become bitter rivals, with their hotly anticipated UFC showdown serving as the climax of the prologue, after which you naturally get funneled into the traditional career mode. In my hands-on time, I got about 2/3 of the way through the story in just about 2 hours or so, and my overall impression was pretty positive. Like prior UFC career modes, it does a good job of teaching you the basics of UFC 6 while contextualizing them all as training sessions for an inexperienced MMA fighter. Only this time, that inexperienced MMA fighter is an actual character with a backstory and clearly defined motivations. The story itself is a simple one, and since it is designed to be just a short prologue chapter, not a lot of time is devoted to developing the actual relationship between Chris and Danny, but it nevertheless succeeds in giving these early pre-UFC fights meaning and makes them less arduous to get through.
They just made it make sense.
It's a big win for the career mode in general.
All right, the Hall of Legends, okay.
While career mode remains the thing that single players will put the majority of their time into, what I'm personally most excited about are the interactive museum-like exhibits that make up the Hall of Legends.
Oh, it is
These
Wei Li.
are
She's
fully
sweeping right there.
explorable hubs designed around the careers and cultures of 3 UFC fighters: Max Holloway, Wei Li Zhang, and Alex Pereira. Wei Li's, for example, starts off by dropping you into a recreation of her hometown of Handan, China, where you can interact with several kiosks to read up on some background about how she started on her MMA journey, including clips of children training at the same martial arts school that she attended as a child, as well as insights into her personal life, like how her mother used to dig holes for her to jump out of, with each hole getting deeper and deeper, to the point where Wei Li herself described them as
it says she was 5 or 6 when they was doing that. That's crazy.
pits. It's pretty fascinating stuff. I said before that these are like interactive museum exhibits, but there's also an element of a Disneyland dark ride as well, with the way that the scenes unfold and change as you walk through them. The swelling and prideful music that scores the Handan scene gives way to a hip-hop beat as you enter the China's champion wing of the hub, which is themed like a UFC gym and focuses on Wei Li's actual UFC career and her significance as the greatest Chinese fighter to ever step foot in the octagon. Of course, you won't just be walking around, reading text logs and watching videos. Each wing comes with a defining fight in that person's career that you can play through, complete with its own context-setting introduction. In most cases, you won't play through the full fight, just the end with optional clear conditions that reward you for staying true to how the fight actually played out. As a longtime MMA fan, I loved everything about this mode. It humanizes the athletes, it's a wonderful show of different cultures, done in a very respectable way, and it let me revisit some of my favorite fights in a way that only video games can allow. It's a feature that I hope sticks because I'd love to see similar treatment done for fighters like
he's
Anderson
saying he hopes
Silva,
it sticks around,
Khabib
so it must be
Nurmagomedov, Conor
must be
McGregor,
worth it
and
for real. He's
Kamaru
actually
Usman,
tried
just to
it,
name a few.
Like you what from who?
You watched my video
One
the other day, I'm not sure. Okay, this is fire.
Is the fact that the training mode now has a Street Fighter 6-like frame meter that breaks down how fast each technique is down to the last frame.
Oh, it's gonna get crazy. Okay, this is fire too. Like, I ain't never seen why EA not showing us this stuff.
Styles of each fighter, meter management, and now they're
like,
even upping their
just
training
go box
mode.
here whenever.
As a huge fighting game fan, I love to see it. Overall, UFC 6 is shaping up extremely well ahead of its June 19th release date, or June 12th for Ultimate Pass owners. The improved lighting and fighter models make it look noticeably improved, the striking is more satisfying, there are far more distinct feeling fighters thanks to the new flow state mechanics, and the Hall of Legends is a true treat for UFC fans looking to relive classic moments of the sport, as well as learn more about some of its most influential fighters. For more recent previews, make sure to check out our look at the upcoming Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, that was tough though, I ain't gonna lie. So the Hall of Legends thing is like, okay. As the career mode in the Hall of Legends, like I don't know. I feel like IGN just outdid EA really though, because they actually gave us some substance with what we watching here. So the Hall of Legends seems interesting. I don't really know where they're gonna go with it from here though. Like, are they gonna release more people across time, or is it just like these 3 people for the entirety lifespan of the game? Do we want more Hall of Legends people? Like, what is it all that's really to it? You know what I'm saying? It seems like just history lessons, and then you reenact the actual fighter in big moments, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, it's cool. But I'm just curious about like what else, if there's anything else to it, or if that's just it. Once you do that, then that's just it. If that's the case, then I'm fine with that. You know what I'm saying? You go do it, enjoy it. And maybe it is some replayability for some people, which is all cool, fine. And this right here, where he was talking about this guy being a wrestler and this guy being like your rival or whatever. Now, if we remember back when we had the first like trailer reveals from EA, it was like, it looked as though we were playing as this guy. But then on this video, it's saying that he was playing as Carter. I think his name is Carter. So what I think that it is that, okay, he's a wrestler and he's a striker, and you're probably having an option. I don't know, take it with a grain of salt, but you're probably having an option between fighting as him or fighting as him, or starting a career as these guys in the prologue or some of that nature, which I think is pretty cool on some like, just multiple characters on some GTA type beat. You swap between their perspectives, and if that is the case where you do two, it'll give you replayability because I can play as both of them in multiple playthroughs. So this part is very interesting. This I feel like this is gonna change a lot. Now on UFC 5, you had this square here with the strike damage percentage, etc. You had that already in 5. Now these are the frames at the bottom. If you play any fighting games, then you may know exactly what you're looking at here. But these are the frames and stuff at the bottom here, and it's gonna tell you that if you do something wrong, there's a punish window here, and it looks as though these blocks were saying like, if it looks like he's guarding, he's holding R2. Now, remember also in this review of everything, they said that the guy, even though you holding R2, he's not going to keep his hands up like they do in 5. So it looks as though he's holding R2. Strickland is blocking high right here, and then the body's open. That's why this window is green. Whereas he's got everything covered up right now. Or at least maybe he's out of range to where it's red to where he can't actually land if he was to throw or some of that nature. I don't know. But it's definitely interesting. I'm definitely going to be in the lab with this a lot just so I can know the intricacies of the game, and that'll help me make better decisions in my fights. So that's all fine and dandy, and that's fire. I'm super happy that they added that. Not going to be useful for everybody, but it'll be useful for a good amount of people, I'm sure. And then the last thing that I want to point out is just here. Like, this is just tough looking. I don't know. This look like Street Fighter, like a real fighting game. You know what I'm saying? So like, instead of a simulation, I should say, it looked like a fighting game type ordeal. I'm rocking with this heavy. I do see he hitting an invisible wall right there. But you know what I'm saying? That's just a minor detail. They should have, I guess they couldn't really do it like Def Jam where like if you get too close to the wall, these people push you back in because then it'll mess the whole flow of the game up. Like, it's still MMA that we're doing here, So I think this is fire though overall. Let me know in the comment sections what y'all think. Spam IGN down there, you know what I'm saying? IGN went crazy one time. I'm sorry, EA, but y'all, it wasn't deep enough for me. Pause. You know what I'm saying? The deep dive wasn't it. This was way better. And they dropped this like maybe an hour or so after the actual deep dive dropped. So this has a lot more detail. I appreciate y'all watching this with me. It's been your boy, Swagger940. Peace.
It's a new op on the block, and I'm tryna knock 'em out. BDR on standby, he's just